Welcome into the show, everybody. My name is Marc Farzy. Nice to have you along here at the Steven Sager Studios. Flyers actually did return. I don't know if you heard in my voice. I'm a little nervous about the NHL. And them returning from their break. Little teams being postponed, pushed back, canceled, whatever it might be with the game. But the Flyers got the game on last night. They played against the Kraken. And they won 3-2 in overtime. Nice to see that. Claude Giroux, the captain, G. Ladies and gentlemen, second all-time now in Flyers points, right over Bill Barber, right under Bobby Clarke. Congratulations to the captain of the Philadelphia Flyers and to the Flyers in general on having a new second all-time in points. Drew's going to have to play a couple more years here. And I know some people don't want that to happen. I kind of want that to happen. I like the Flyers to add as opposed to subtract. I don't really go through another rebuilding thing. But bottom line is, he gets an assist last night. James Van Riemsdyk gets 2 goals. Ivan Provorov gets your game winner in OT, and the Flyers now have a 6-7 game point streak all of a sudden. What? All right. There we go, boys. Way to be. First off, way to be on that. Second, thank you for taking the hex off of me that I put onto you to lose 10 in a row. Again, if you're just joining the show, it was all my fault. They lost 10 games. 10 games in a row. So that's a good time. So Flyers get back in action. Hopefully continue to build on that point streak. Sixers back in action tonight. 7 o'clock tip-off, I believe it is, against the Brooklyn Nets. Hopefully get a little revenge against those Brooklyn Nets. That'd be nice to see. And we don't have any reaming out of reporters after a game for asking silly, dumbass questions. So we'll see how Doc Rivers handles that. We don't have a guest today, and for a very specific reason, we don't have a guest today. I listened to yesterday's press conferences with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I was wildly entertained. And as much as I love the people we have on this show, I think it's harder to be more entertaining than Darius Slay, for instance. Slay is one funny fella. He talks about Hall of Fame. He talks about being on the offense all of a sudden. He talks about his coach having faith in him, and he talks about a former Eagles cornerback that needs to be in the Hall of Fame. So he talks about that. Nick Siriani tells you how much he loves ball, but not just how much he loves ball, how much he loves being a wide receiver and going on a trajectory and make sure he catches the ball over his right shoulder and then boom, turn it on to his left shoulder. So we got Nick Siriani to talk about. And we also have a Ben Simmons update before we get to anything with the Eagles. Oh, we'll also let you hear from Jalen Hurts. This is amazing to me. I didn't realize this. He mentioned this last week, but I didn't realize the extent in which he did this. Jalen Hurts meets with Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. For those that don't know, he's only the best offensive line coach in all of football. But he meets with Jeff Stoutland on a weekly basis to talk about the last game, talk about the future game, talk about coverages, protection, and all that at the line of scrimmage. And like for a young quarterback to do that, I think is great. But then he takes it a step further, because I'm sure he's not the only one to do that. But then he takes it a step further, and he has his weekly meetings with his offensive lineman, most notably his center, Jason Kelce. And it even came down to a point in this last game against the Giants that Jalen Hurts actually told Jason Kelce, dude, I love you, man. How beautiful is that? That's the relationship. That's the relationship you want to see. Also, we're going to circle back to something we got in on yesterday because it started a bit of a conversation in our comments both during and after the show about Jason Avant and what Jason Avant had to say about Jalen Hurts. I think some people, and this happens very often, some people find it difficult to determine the difference between an opinion from oneself, this is my opinion on Jalen Hurts, versus their prediction about how the Eagles are going to handle the Jalen Hurts situation. And what Jason Avant did on this show yesterday was actually very specific. And I thought if you really listen to him and not even like intently like take notes, review the notes, then go back and watch it again, then review your notes again, just listen to the man. He said just that. Let me take myself out of the equation. That's what he said. Let me take myself out of the equation. And I don't think that the Eagles look at it as a situation where Jalen Hurts will make them avoid pursuing a quarterback. Very simple. Very simple. Not, let me tell you what I'd do. I even asked, that was the question. I asked him what he would do. Instead, he went the prediction route and said, well, let me tell you what I think the Eagles are going to do. Take myself out of it. And he doesn't think that Jalen Hurts has done anything this year to this point that's going to make the Eagles go, Kenny Pickett, forget about it. Trading for Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson? Maybe. Like that, I don't think that's going to be the case. They're going to be in pursuit of a quarterback, barring some type of deep playoff run by Jalen Hurts and this Philadelphia Eagles team. If they're going to get there, they need some healthy running backs, and also Nick Siriani offered an update on that. But before we do anything, let's jump into this conversation real quick, because for the first time in a while, we have a Ben Simmons update. This coming by way of NBA Central, by way of Jake Fisher, by way of the Anthony Irwin Show. Here you go. 76ers. A little update on the story a couple of weeks ago from Sham Charania and Drew Wojnarowski that the Sixers are looking for that top-tier player, that all-star player, 20 to 30 players that they have on a list, according to Jake Fisher, to get back for Ben Simmons. Damian Lillard, but he's untouchable. He's on the list. James Harden, on the list. Bradley Beal, who I think I just saw he got his first vaccination hit. So there you go. That's nice. Bradley Beal on the list. Jaylen Brown on the list. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the list. I really like all those names. Now, I know a lot of people look at James Harden and they go, what are we going to do with James Harden? You know, like the scorer they need, the shooter they need, and all that's true. I am not dispelling that. But I was a little sheepish on 32, 33-year-old James Harden a year ago. What am I going to be thinking about 33, 34-year-old James Harden in the more present day? And if it's a straight-up deal, okay. Sixers get to hold on to everything else? All right. I'll do that. I don't think it's going to be a straight-up deal, but I like that. I do think that Daryl Morey looks at Dame Lillard, and I think he looks at James Harden as kind of his Moby Dick reference, white whales. And then he hopefully can reacquire a guy like James Harden, and then hopefully can bring in a guy to Dame Lillard's standard. That would be pretty amazing. Dame Lillard's still number one on my list for all the people that you could be getting back in this deal. The James Harden deal, I think, is almost a little too perfect, a little too easy to line up for a guy like Daryl Morey in terms of, A plus B, you got C right there. Like, it's almost too easy to think James Harden's coming to the Sixers. The Bradley Beal deal is the one that I think is the easiest. And I know we had that story a couple of weeks ago from a bunch of the ESPN NBA insiders that talked about probably the easiest deal, most likely deal would be bringing Bradley Beal into Philadelphia, 28 years old, scorer, obviously didn't play against the Sixers the other night, but certainly somebody that could come in here and challenge, at least, maybe not surpass, but challenge Joel Embiid as the leading scorer on this team, which is all along what I have been asking for this entire time. I don't want somebody to come in here and have it be like, Joel Embiid way up here, number one, your best player, no question about it, leading scorer, and then all the way down here, it's like Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, the occasional Seth Curry, great game. Like, I need somebody that's going to be in that middle, someone that's a step above Tobias Harris, a step above Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry. I need someone that's going to be in that middle road between Joel Embiid, at least between Joel Embiid and those like third in on the scoring chart type of guys. And I've made this mistake before in the past of not articulating this point enough. But Tobias Harris is not a guy that I describe the style of game when I talk about bringing in a guy like Malcolm Brogdon. Like, I don't put those two games together and go, oh, look, they're the same. But I'm talking about a guy that's like a third-tier scorer on a team. I need at least a second-tier scorer on a team. And that's what I would like to see come in to complement Joel Embiid. So if that's somebody that can shoot from the outside and create his own shot and penetrate like a guy like Bradley Beal, I'm here for it. If it's Dame Lillard, let's party. James Harden, all right, straight up, okay, let's party. But everything else, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I can party with as well. But he's down there on the list, not up there on the list. So that's the latest right now that's out there regarding Ben Simmons. I am at a point, and I've seen this kind of start to snowball as the season rolls on. I have seen a lot more people start to take on the opinion of, to hell with it, raise the white flag, just trade Ben Simmons. We're wasting time with Joel Embiid. And you would be correct. You are wasting time with Joel Embiid right now. However, I'm still not ready to run up the white flag, especially when there seems like there is no trade that's imminent, when it seems like there's no solid deal in place that is literally like Daryl Morey's just sitting there and be like, all right, push the button. I want them to make sure they get the max return on their investment, and that's what Daryl Morey's doing. let's just go through a timeline real quick. The Sixers at the draft, they asked for an exorbitant amount for a return on Ben Simmons. So much so that anybody scrolling social media, following Woj, following Shams, following anybody that covers the NBA, Jake Fisher, whoever it might be, you're following it and you're going, what? 5 players? 3 first-rounders? That's like 10 people. What the hell? They're not trading that. No, they're not getting that back for Ben Simmons. But Daryl Morey just said, the hell with it. It's draft night. People get crazy on draft night. Let's see what happens. Nothing happened. And now we've progressed months down the road. And where are we? We're now at a spot where you're getting reports about 5 to 7 suitors that could be interested in Ben Simmons and making that trade. They're in conversation with the Sixers. The Sixers know enough right now to have that list of 20 to 30 players where Dame Lillard's still very much on it, despite list coming out or reports coming out a couple of weeks ago. Dame Lillard untouchable. They're not trading Dame Lillard. Sure you are. Tons of fun. Sure you're not. So that's where the Sixers are at right now. And now you have another team in the Cleveland Cavaliers that seem to be taking this a little bit more serious, according to more recent reports. So you have other teams coming out that are now starting to, all of a sudden, when push comes to shove, maybe at the NBA trade deadline, we get a little bit closer to that. Teams might start paying that top dollar. All of a sudden, do we have a bidding war for a guy who hasn't played since the semifinals of the playoffs last year? What? For a guy that hasn't played since then, a guy that played terrible when he did play, and a guy that is, according to his camp, going through mental health issues. Something I failed to bring up last week. Clutch Sports they actually tweeted out for fans to vote for Ben Simmons to be in the All-Star game. And I thought to myself, you heartless bastards. You heartless bastards. Your client's having mental health issues, apparently, and you want him to be in the All-Star game? What the hell's wrong with you? Anyway, that's what I got on the 76ers. That's what I got on Ben Simmons and that whole trade thing. We'll see when it finally happens. Don't get me wrong. I hope it happens today, just so we can move past it. I just don't think that they're going to get top dollar until teams really get up against that trade deadline. And then looking to get somebody who could be that facilitator, that point guard, maybe that power forward, and also that solid defender, second in the league when it comes to defensive player of the year. So let's hope that happens. Let's jump into this because it is pretty amazing. But first, I'm going to tell you about my friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, and this will be part of our Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report that we usually do on Mondays following a game. But too much good stuff came out yesterday that I just have to get to it and give it to you fine people today. But first, let me tell you about our good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. For all the people that might be popping the question this New Year's, if that's your resolution, to get married, to get hitched, to get engaged at least, see my man Steven Singer at the other corner of 8th and Walnut or at IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven's got everything at the perfect price. So when you walk in there, you know you're going to get treated like family, not just some customer they're looking to take advantage of. You walk in, you don't have to worry about negotiating. You don't have to worry about haggling. Everything's set at the perfect price already. So the person next to you paying the same price as you. You don't have to walk away going, could I gotten $500 more off of that? No, it's already $500 off. It's not marked up. It's some huge exorbitant amount like some other jewelers do, just to mark it down in front and make you feel like you won something. You get taken care of when you walk into Steven Singer. That's why I trust Steven Singer, and Philadelphia has trusted Steven Singer for over 40 years. He's been in the love business, helping people fall in love, helping people get engaged, helping present the perfect gift at the perfect price every single day at Steven Singer Jewelers. The other corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia. Steven Singer Jewelers, IHateStevenSinger.com. Like I said, it was a pretty wild day at the NovaCare Complex yesterday. Pretty wild day. Nick Siriani started things off on a serious note, talking about the running backs, because here's what is amazing to me. And I heard Reuben Frank make this point, and I think it's a point that needs to be made because it might be too obvious. It might be something people overlook. The Eagles are on pace to break their personal all-time franchise record in rushing yards for a season. That's pretty incredible. In today's NFL of all times, this is the NFL. This is the year they're going to break it. Now, you might say, it's 17 games, so it's one more game. Yeah, but even if just the style of play by today, like I would think that they would need at least like 5 more games to try to break a record like that, a rushing record like that. But that's not the case. They need 2, maybe. So the Eagles are on a pace to break their all-time rushing record for a season. And in a year, and by the way, they're also the number 1 team in the NFL in rushing. And they don't have like Lane Johnson in the Pro Bowl? What? How does that not that makes zero sense to me. I know he missed 3 games because he was dealing with his mental health issues. I think it would have been a phenomenal thing for the NFL to still put him in there. I think Lane Johnson will end up making the Pro Bowl anyway. It seems to always come down to a couple of guys can't, the next guy's on the list. They ended up getting moved up. It happened to him 2 years ago. I think it happens to him again. But I just can't believe for a second that he's not a Pro Bowler in the NFL. And time again, you hear him referred to as the best right tackle in football, top right tackle in football, top 3 at worst. And it seems like people are dumbfounded as to why he did not make the Pro Bowl this year. And I am right there with him, especially with the way I'm surprised you don't have multiple offensive linemen in the Pro Bowl. Jordan Mailata was asked about it last week, and he just talked about how it's BS that Lane Johnson didn't make it. So that to me is just crazy. I mean, Jason Kelce, I'm happy for Jason Kelce. It's great. But when it comes to the rest of this offensive line, it's amazing to me that there's not multiple Pro Bowlers on this offensive line, considering the year that they've had. Let me just get that out of the way. 2 of the running backs that the Eagles are a little bit skeptical on when it comes to what their playing status is going to be for the rest of the year. It's obviously a good sign that Miles Sanders wasn't put on IR. You'll hear from Nick Siriani talk about that in a second. But now the question is, what's going to happen with Jordan Howard with that stinger that caused him to miss a good amount of time 3 years ago? So here is Nick Siriani trying to give an update on his running back room.
As far as Miles goes, again, I won't put a timetable on him, but we're not putting him on IR. And that's not like, hey, on Thursday or Friday we're putting him on IR. We're not putting. I can share that with you. We're not putting him on IR. So obviously we're hopeful that he's back. And actually, that I had a running back a couple years ago, Marlon Mack. He broke his hand and was back. I don't remember how much time it was, but it was the same type of thing. He broke his hand and was back a little bit later in the year. So no timetable there. As far as Jordan goes with with his injury, he's just working like crazy and obviously we're aware of what happened 2 years ago, but he's just working like crazy to get back and get himself ready to go for this game. But nothing. We're aware of the injury last time. We know what went down with that and everything. And so it's a separate injury, and we're just treating it that way and trying to get him back for this football game. And he's working. Him and the trainers and the doctors and our strength staff are working like crazy to get him ready.
So translation, we have no idea. That's for Jordan Howard. For Miles Sanders, maybe if we make the playoffs. When we make the playoffs, Miles Sanders will be back. Now, for those that are already trying to look up when you had Marlon Mack miss a couple of games with a fractured hand, it was 2 games in 2019 that he missed with a fractured hand. He came back after 2 games. All right. Let's hope that that's the case for Miles Sanders, where he'll miss this game against Washington. Hopefully he comes back against Dallas. You don't know. And then you'd have him at least for the first round of the playoffs. Let's hope that's the case for Miles Sanders, because you want that running back room as close to the perfection that they've been actually able to give you over the last 8 weeks of the season. Isn't that amazing? 5-2 when they started running the football. Go figure. If only they started things out like that. I know I hit the comments every day, but I want to follow up on this. Yesterday, a guy, when I was in the old radio business there, Ruined Today, Joe on Twitter. We go back and forth. He's a great tweeter, if you will, great fan. He took part in our poll about Nick Siriani and what type of grade you would give him. And he gave him a C+ for not making those adjustments earlier in the season. I think the fact that he made them at all is what makes him, I think, have at least a B for what he's done so far this season with the Philadelphia Eagles in his first year as a head coach, especially with all the struggles they had in the early goings, making that adjustment. Yes, maybe I would have loved to see it against the Raiders. Maybe I would like to see it against the Buccaneers before they got into the second half against the Bucs, because the Bucs were the best running team in the running defense in the NFL going into that game. I said, to hell with it. It's still the best version of yourself. Throw it in their face, see what they do. They didn't do that until the second half, and that's when they started racking up numbers. So, yes, earlier in the season, you could have made those adjustments. I would have loved to have seen it. He didn't make those adjustments as I throw my pen. I'm so frustrated I didn't make those adjustments. Just threw my pen. But for me, I look at what they did, finally making the adjustments, and the fact that they have gone 5-2 since they did that. I looked at it as a big thing for the coach, because we've had coaches here, Chip Kelly, Andy Reid, Doug Peterson made adjustments based on his team, but we've seen it before where coaches just say, no, this is what we're doing. This is my scheme. Now fit into it. And that often doesn't work out. And I don't think Nick Sirianni has done that for the most part this season. I think for the last 8 games in particular, he's done a great job of using the run game. So that's what he's got on the running back room. Now, this is where the fun begins, folks. Nick Sirianni was asked a question yesterday about Devontae Smith and his toe tap touchdown that he had against the Giants. And it's not the first acrobatic catch that Devontae Smith has obviously made for the Eagles this year, his rookie season, his rookie campaign. So Nick Sirianni, one of my favorite parts of this quote is that he says he doesn't want to go too long. And then he spoke for 3 minutes. I don't have all 3 minutes for you, but I have enough of it. Here is Nick Sirianni talking about the drills they do and where he got the idea for these drills when it comes to training their wide receivers for making those acrobatic catches. Before I roll this clip, I just want to ask you this question. Do you love ball as much as Nick Sirianni loves ball? Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Sirianni on his wide receivers making acrobatic catches.
As best I can without getting too much. I don't mind getting too much into it. It just could go long. But 5 catches of each, I want to say, difficult catch or unusual catch that they might make. And so as you go through the years, you always are saying, "Ooh, add that to the repertoire." Because if you're only making a difficult catch, if you're only dragging your feet at practice, if you're only dragging your feet on Sunday, then you're not going to be used to doing it. And so there's no telling that how many reps you'll get of dragging your feet in a team period, right? You're going to go through that process of team periods, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a drag your foot on the sideline during team period. So you try to simulate those things as much as you can. So you have the sideline drag, you have traffic catches that you try to get, and again, you have low balls, you have high balls, you have behind balls, you have over the shoulder, you have over the shoulder where you turn your shoulder and catch it over the other side. I got a great story about that. My dad used to throw me this ball all the time. He would always have me right here, and he'd have me look over my left shoulder and then flip over and catch it over the right shoulder when he put it on the other side. And I'm like, I never caught one. And I moved from quarterback to receiver in high school, and it didn't happen in high school. I'm like, well, all right, I rep these all the time. Then I'd be at home in the summer and football, and my dad would be throwing it to me. It never happened. And then one game my junior year, it happened, and I was so excited. I caught a touchdown pass against Wabash where I would looked over the one shoulder and then caught it over the other shoulder. So, and I will take that back. It was a touchdown. They said that it hit the ground. It didn't, all right, but it did show up in that time. So my point of all of this is you try to put yourself in as many scenarios as you possibly can before the game, and that's just natural. We've stole it from everybody. Like I saw Des Bryant one time, and this is a drill that we do now. I saw him in a warm-up. We were at the Chargers, and we were playing the Cowboys, and he had his assistant, somebody with him, and he had a towel around his arm, and every time he would catch it, the guy would yank his arm and simulate that yank of his arm, and we added that to the repertoire. So it's grown over the years. Of the type of catch you can do, and we just try to put our guys in the position of doing that. You got to be, and I credit to all of the position coaches, because you gotta sit there and you just gotta pepper balls at them all the time, over and over and over and over again. And so that's where that came from, and just to put them in that position that they might not be able to get in otherwise before Sunday.
Ladies and gentlemen, find someone who will talk about you the way Nick Sirianni talks about ball. Just find someone in the year 2022 that loves you as much as Nick Sirianni loves football. And Wabash never knew what hit him. I was doing this, I was doing that. Touchdown against Wabash. Yeah, I got scored a touchdown. I was really excited. If you're listening on the podcast, do yourself a favor. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is in the show. It's like 31 minutes into the show, maybe. Do yourself a favor. Watch that cut. Just enjoy it. enjoy it. Find it on the YouTube page. Find it on Twitter. Whatever it is, just enjoy Nick Siriani talking about a touchdown he had against Wabash. Good times. And here's the thing. You like a lot of times, in acting or in broadcasting, they talk about how you can't really rehearse an ad lib line. Like, it's in the moment. You can't really, like, it's all about the timing, the feel, and boom, you deliver the ad lib line. Like, the thing is, you can. It might not be in the script, but you do have that line that you know you can ad lib and put in at that scene if it needs it. And a lot of times in football, when you're trying to make those catches, you're trying to ad-lib, do something that's not on script. You're just trying to make the play because ultimately that's the job. That's what you're supposed to do. Just like you're trying to do, you're trying to entertain, try to ad-lib that line, entertain a little bit more. Well, you know what Nick Sirianni did? He said, let's keep on practicing the ad-lib. Let's keep on practicing the toe tap, the high point. Let's keep on practicing keeping your feet in bounds, keeping your momentum in bounds before you go out and your feet touch down out of bounds. Let's practice that. Oh, the throw's over the wrong shoulder. Bang, go over the other shoulder. Make the catch over that one. It is hilarious to me to hear him talk about it just because you feel energized. His energy is contagious when he's talking about it. And it's not the type of nervous energy that we saw in the early goings of his press conferences. It's really, you get more of a sense for why Jeffrey Lurie, why Howie Roseman, when they sat across from this guy, they went, yeah, let's bring him in. I'm sure, don't get me wrong, I'm not being naive to the situation where somebody with less experience and just happy to have a head coaching job will be easier to work with if you like having power like Jeffrey Lurie or Howie Roseman. But you also want somebody that you know is in there because they love the job. And this guy loves the job. Urban Meyer didn't love the job. That's Jacksonville. Nick Sirianni loves the job, loves the game most importantly at this level. And I think he has done a fine job, especially in the second half of the season. When you really think about it, they've only played down to one opponent in the second half of the season, and we all know who that is. That's the Giants, and they exercised that demon last week. Now it's a matter of getting ready for what's ahead of you in the Washington football team. And I know I'm supposed to be cocky about this. I'm supposed to be arrogant about this. I'm supposed to feel like the Eagles, they're going to lock this up. They're going to take care of business against Washington, and then they're going to put up a fight against Dallas, and then they're going to get into the playoffs because they'll have the better record. And the Vikings most likely are going to lose, even though they won earlier in the season against the Packers. I see the Vikings losing to the Packers at Lambeau on Sunday. But I do believe the Eagles are going to make the playoffs. But I wish I was going into this game without the feeling that the Eagles are going to play down to an opponent again. And without Jordan Howard, without Miles Sanders, the Eagles' run game takes a huge hit. Kerryon Johnson comes back to the Eagles. We'll see what he's able to bring to the table if he ends up playing in this game. It looks like Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell are your big backs this game. And I love Boston Scott, and he kills the Giants. Want to see him step up again against Washington now. Jalen Hurts talked at length yesterday about his ankle. Do I have an update on his ankle? I believe I do. Here's Jalen Hurts on his ankle right now.
How do you know when you're back to pre-injury form, and how does that ankle feel right now?
It feels fine. Been good enough for us to get 2 wins.
The end. That's all. All right. Good for you. Nick Sirianni said they're not calling plays any different now because of Jalen Hurts' ankle. They're still doing it. They're still trying to be cautious with it, but Jalen Hurts is saying it really hasn't limited him. He's thinking he's back at 100% right now. So going into Washington this weekend, they're not expecting it to hinder his game at all. 100%. Hey, 2-0 with the ankle when he's playing. All right, let's see if you can make a 3-0 against the Washington football team. So ankle shouldn't be a hindrance to him at all. Now, this is the other part of that. Jalen Hurts, one of the things I have said multiple times about this guy is that I'm rooting for him to be the franchise guy. I love his mindset. I love that he's got a chip on his shoulder. I love the idea that he's not a first-round pick. Because I feel like a lot of guys, Carson Wentz, that come in here as the saviors of the franchise, they'll come in and they'll have all this arrogance. They'll have all this cockiness. They'll have, I know more than you. They'll be given all this power right out of the gate. All the guaranteed money right out of the gate. Not all the guaranteed money like Sam Bradford guaranteed money, but you know what I'm saying. More than the next guy. And I like guys that have that chip on their shoulder where they're a little bit of the underdog. Dak Prescott, a 4th-round pick. All of a sudden, he comes out with the Cowboys. I liked him back in Mississippi State, so this isn't him as a Cowboy that I like. But, he's got that chip on his shoulder because he was a late-round pick. Miles Sanders, 2nd round ain't bad, but it ain't 1st round, especially not 2nd overall like Carson Wentz. So I like that he has that chip on his shoulder, and he's always trying to prove himself to people. I am rooting for him to be the starting quarterback going forward. And I mean for the next 10 years, 15 years. I hope this is the guy because he has the mindset and the attitude. And I think his skills will continue to develop over time. And I'm hoping he gets that time. I am rooting for him to be that guy. And this is one of the main reasons. No stone left unturned. I told you at the start of the show how he meets with Jeff Stoutland to talk about the offensive line and what the protections are going to be. I told you earlier in the show that he also meets with Jason Kelce. This is Jalen Hurts talking about what he goes over when he meets with his Pro Bowl center.
I think he's been a teacher for me in so many different ways, seeing how he plays the game, seeing what he sees, and then me making those same calls he makes and me being able to be like, hey, you good with this, kind of communicating, making sure we're all on the same page. So kind of like I said before with Coach Stout, and the player coach, Jason Kelce is. I value that, and I'm always trying to soak up as much as I can from him. And one thing I told him during the game is, I told him I had a lot of love for him. I'm on the sideline. I told him that, and I told him I really appreciate how willingness you are to help the people around you. And I think I said that wrong. Willing, excuse me. I think I told him I appreciate how willing he is to help the people around him, and lead the O-line room the way he does. It all is appreciated.
I did not root for that guy. Going to a center, going over notes. I don't know when that was in the game. I don't know if that was when Gardner Minshew came in at the end of the game. Oh, by the way, I was right on that prediction. Gardner Minshew comes in anyway. Jalen Hurts gets a little rest against the Giants. Your boy had that one. Anyway, but you got to love that. They're having a little meeting. I love you. I love you. Oh, it's beautiful. But they're also talking about what they can do to improve going forward. I mean, Jalen Hurts, you could call it a chip on his shoulder. I call it humility. To be able to go up to somebody and more or less confess that you don't know more than them. You know, in fact, less than them. And you want to try to glom as much information. You want to try to glean as much information as you possibly can from that person so that you become a better player. I don't really feel like you had a lot of that in the previous regime. And I feel like you have a lot of that now. It's like when I watch Jalen Hurts now, and yes, I'm harshly critical of what he does throughout games. I mean, I had 3 incompletions the other day against Washington. Hopefully he has that same type of performance this time around. But I am trying to grade him the way that I know Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are trying to grade him for the future, which is I think they're looking as a guy as for drafting him to not be a starter. I think they're looking for a guy that I think they're looking for flaws to go, oh, no. See, we got to get the guy that we know is going to be the starter for the foreseeable future. When in reality, even if that guy fell into your lap in the 2nd round, and even though at the time it was the dumbest thing you could like to take a quarterback in the 2nd round, you still drafted him. Give him time to get to that point. I'm not saying give him 5 years. I'm not saying you didn't give him 3 years. Give him 1 more year. I have a lot more confidence and would much rather stick with Jalen Hurts for next year than anybody else in this draft class. Than I would even the odds of an Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers wants to come here, come on down. Russell Wilson wants to come here, come on down. I do not see those things happening. Deshaun Watson, as I told you yesterday, I'm not getting near that until you know what is resolved with him. But right now, I don't see a better option and more likely option than Jalen Hurts being your starting quarterback next year. And I'll tell you how I feel about it. I'm fine with it. I'm quite frankly happy about it because I want to see the steps he takes to improve. I want to see if he can get Pro Bowl consideration and put this team in week 16 now, going into week 17, into the playoffs, which is where they're at right now at 8-7. I want to see what he can do next year when he's actually the undisputed starter of the Philadelphia Eagles. Will there be conversation in the offseason about Pickett? Will there be conversation about Watson and Rodgers and Wilson and whatever it might be? Yes, there'll be conversation. I saw somebody sent me this yesterday, ESPN. They were talking about Kirk Cousins being traded to the Eagles. Gah! Ah! Like, what more speculation do we need to do here? Like, enough is out there. Stop adding to it. Ugh. Speculation that was. It wasn't a report, just for the record, before you guys lose your minds like I did. But when it comes to Jalen Hurts, I'd much rather just stick with him for one more year. If I could see this type of maturation coming from 4 years as a starter last year to starting an entire season this year, what could he do in one more year? And as far as the running goes, that doesn't concern me right now because he's such a young, inexperienced quarterback. If he's doing the same thing next year, that's going to scare me a little bit. As long as the running backs are running, I'm happy. Quarterback, I'd rather stay in the pocket, make the play with his arm. So that's what I want to see develop. That was him talking about Jason Kelce and his relationship with him, which is pretty amazing. Now, before we get to the chat, I got a couple more things I want to play for you guys. Darius Slay, I think, is one of the most entertaining human beings to ever play in Philadelphia. I just find him to be hilarious. A lot of people are talking about the turmoil that Washington is going through right now. Yes, they got their quarterback back, but I believe he was, 7 of 21 passing for like 150 yards against the Dallas Cowboys. Taylor Heineke came back for that game. Did not look good. Did not look crisp. So the Eagles are going to face him this time around. Here is Darius Slay talking about the mindset of Washington, including the fist fights on the sideline in Dallas during the 56-14 stomping at the hands of the Cowboys.
Think about their mindset at all going into this game?
No, not at all. The only thing I'm saying is that, Washington a tough team, man. They like to, they get down and grimy, they competitive, man. They go come play their hearts out like every other week. They always go play hard, but, and the fights on the sideline, that's brotherly love, man. Sure, I don't have that plenty of fight before. Me and Quandre got into it before, so it's nothing. That's some brother love. That's just how the game go, in the heat of battles and stuff like that always happen.
So that's good. He's not looking past him. That was a concern I had. We talked about with Jason Avant yesterday. Like, how do the Eagles not look past this game and just look at Dallas, a team that, for whatever reason, is going to matter to them to probably win this game to try to help their playoff seeding as best as they can. But obviously, it's going to matter to the Eagles as well. And they got beat pretty bad in the third week of the season, so they have revenge on their minds, I'm sure. But more so than anything, just solidifying their playoff spot. So how do you not look past Washington? Well, you got to win, baby. You control your own destiny. The Eagles right now, they win 2 more games, playoffs, guaranteed. That's how it works. So go out there and just win, damn it. That's Darius Slay's attitude about it. Now this is the next thing. Darius Slay talks about, I keep on calling him Darius Slay. He's just Slay. He talks about trick plays. We saw, 3 weeks ago now, you saw him get into the red zone on a play. Didn't get his number called, but he helped, I believe it was Miles Sanders, get a first down. Darius Slay talks about his head coach being creative with play calling when not just him, but also Lane Johnson.
Man, coaches came to me with it, man, just said, hey, Slay, we want to put you on offense. I said, about time, I had fun doing it, man. There's not too many DBs in the world that say they can play offense, so I can put that on my resume.
John Clark and then John McMullen.
Hey, Slay, when Nick Siriani has you on offense for that play and then you see Lane Johnson score a touchdown, that's fun. What does that do for the team when a coach does that with his players?
And, man, just he feel like, he believe in us, man. That's a good thing about Coach, man. He believe in each one of us in this room. And for him to just, take that risk of throwing that ball to, not too many linemen can catch, but Lane is very athletic, by far the most athletic tackle in the game, easily, faster than all of them. I put my money on him, on anybody. And, I expect him to catch that at all time.
Like, first off, about time he asked me to be on the defense. Or the offense. And then he also talks about Lane Johnson making the play as well, which is just fantastic. One of the things that is interesting about the Lane Johnson situation, and I've gone to this before, and I want to hit it one more time. My 1 year that I played organized football in high school, my freshman year at Archbishop Wood, one of the things that I remember was wild to me. It was like, when you experience something, it's much different than reading about it or watching it. Like, when you actually experience it for yourself, it's just a totally different ballgame, which sounds obvious, but I mean, there's little intricacies that you just don't think about. Like, for instance, catching a ball with shoulder pads on versus catching a ball without shoulder pads on. The limited mobility, especially when you're in high school in the early 90s. Or sorry, early 90s. I just aged my late 90s for the record. 1998, I believe it was. And trying to catch a ball with those big-ass shoulder pads on, it was like, oh, okay, I got to make an adjustment to this. Ooh, passes over here. I can barely get my hand over there. So that was kind of where I was at with that. Lane Johnson, when he addressed the media yesterday, talked about how he was worried he was going to drop the ball, not because his hands aren't good, because as you just heard Slay say, his hands are really good. He's the most athletic right tackle, or most athletic tackle in all football. But he said, Lane Johnson said that he's wearing thumb guards. And I'm thinking, how often is he trying to catch passes in thumb guards? That had to be difficult. He made it look easy, though. So credit to Lane Johnson. I would have never thought of that. He's wearing the thumb guards, of course, as an offensive lineman. Still caught the ball, baby. Not too bad. Finally, I'll close with this when it comes to the Eagles locker room. Asante Samuel, I said this on Monday, Darius Slay is the best Eagles corner since Asante Samuel. And I loved Asante Samuel. Oh, he gambled too much. No, I will quote Asante Samuel when talking about Asante Samuel. If you're tired of my big playmaking ability, then trade me. And that's obviously what the Eagles ended up doing anyway. But I love the fact that he gambled. And I love the fact that that guy, he never got credit for how much he studied film to know when to gamble and not to gamble. It wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment thing. Work went into that. Darius Slay was asked yesterday about not just the Pro Bowl, but also the Hall of Fame. And when asked, he thinks about the Pro Bowl, does he think about the Hall of Fame? And whether or not he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. Here's how Darius Slay handled that question yesterday while addressing the media.
We got time for one more, so we'll wrap it up with Jeff McClain.
Let's go, Jeff.
I was muted there. Hey, Slay, since you're talking about the Hall of Fame, what do you think about yourself at this point in your career?
Oh,
you
man,
have the credentials?
Shoot, not yet, but I'm working, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, like a guy like Asante Samuel with he's been a 4-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, 51 career interceptions, over 400 tackles, and he ain't first ballot. Shoot, I'm still here looking like, dang, can I even, knock on a dough at least? Because, he doubling my picks right now, and he did that in 11 years. So if that's the way you can't get in there like that, it's going to be hard for me to get in there too. So, shoot, we need to figure a way out. I don't know with the Hall of Fame. I don't know how I operate, but if I need 51 picks, shoot, well, look here, I ain't going to play that long.
All right. He's right. And I love how he just had those numbers at the top of his head. 51 interceptions career for Asante Samuel. Right now, I did do the homework already, so you don't have to look up. Darius Slay's at 31 interceptions. He needs 20 more interceptions. Not impossible, but certainly difficult. Not impossible, but certainly difficult. I love that he had the numbers off the top of his head for Asante Samuel. That man knows his history. Shoot. I'm going to start incorporating that. Ben Simmons traded yet? Shoot. He ain't traded yet. We're going to make it a thing on the show. That was your Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report, brought to you by the great people of Rothman Orthopaedics. Ladies and gentlemen, remember the old you? The one who didn't have to put up with a fickle knee, finicky hip, or shoulder that no longer does what a shoulder should do. Remember, the Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you, back to running, walking, working, playing, back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the great people at BetQL? Ladies and gentlemen, we got college bowl games going on. Cotton Bowl, we got that going on. Orange Bowl, we got that going on. Tomorrow, big college football playoff day, as we know. We got the Rose Bowl coming up, obviously, New Year's Day. And if you want to get the advantage over your sports book, you need to download the BetQL app, the only app you'll need to make the smart bets. Their best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports. And they give you the reasoning behind why you should place that bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, player props as well. And if you don't want to use their model, prefer to do your own research, use the BetQL app for all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. That's what they got. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineups, injuries, breaking news, even a leaderboard for you to track your own success. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download the BetQL app. How about the great people of WinView? WinView is the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the biggest sports fan? So do what I do. Use WinView. It's great. If a friend thinks they know everything about sports, challenge into a WinView challenge and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that they love so much. So do what I do. Download the WinView app, challenge a friend, make predictions, win some money. It's just that simple. Use WinView. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's phlsportsnation.com. Now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show. Let's jump into the chat check and see how all yous guys are doing. April leading off, playing center. What's up there, April? Good morning. Dante, good morning. Is there a show tomorrow? Yeah, damn right there's a show tomorrow. I'm getting drunk tomorrow night, not tomorrow. Come on, guys. Jeez. Anyway, PJ, Farzy, what's up, Taylor? How you doing? Sean, Matt, what's up, Matt? How you been? Happy New Year to you as well. People are dumb, Farzy. I do not disagree with this. I know many people. I know people that are dumb. This is true. Good morning, gang. Good morning, Augusto, Dante. Hello again. People don't listen. April, I will get into that one more time with Jason Avant in a second. My new hobby is the F there a typo, Cody? I hope it is. Heck yeah. Attaboy, PJ. Farzy show. Farzy does little toots. Call PJ Uncle PJ. Matt. No, she does not. But thank you for reminding me. I don't have a picture. Whatever. I talked about when I got my wife. I talked about when my wife got me. I talked about yesterday that I ripped my mother-in-law's gift before I knew it was my mother-in-law's gift to us. The wine opener that I'm morally opposed to. I told that story. I still have it taken upstairs. You know why? Because I'm never going to use it. Anyway. You know what's funny? My mother-in-law, I think, bought that for herself. Because when she comes over, she loves wine. In a good way. Not like where it's excessive. But she comes, she'll use that. Because she knows I hide the other, I think it's called a rabbit. The thing you put on top of the wine, you pop it open. Anyway. So yeah, I think she got that for herself, in all honesty. But I never said what I got Little Toots for Christmas. She got a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of toys. But the highlight for Little Toots, my daughter's 2.5 now, almost 2.5. Jesus. She loves painting. She loves art. So we got her an actual art easel that she loves. Like, she comes down in the morning and she's like, first off, she watched Coco Melon, and then she has her milk, and then she just goes, "Daddy, paint?" And I'm like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And she takes her shirt off. She goes over to her easel and she just starts painting. And it's mostly abstract stuff, but I gotta say, it's really good. It's really good. It's really good. So yeah, she loves her art easel. And when she came down Christmas morning and peeled the wrapping paper off, she was just like, I'll say this. I can do demo. I can tear down a wall in my house. I've built a number of tables in my house. I've built a bench for my daughter for outside our tree, outside our row home in Philly. I love working with my hands, love woodworking and all that stuff. But to put together an art easel, and I forgot the company that made it. It wasn't IKEA. Let me just say that. I'm well versed in IKEA language. That was 2.5 hours. It's like 4 pieces of wood, a dry erase board, a chalkboard, a couple of bins, and screws. But the pictures were not very descriptive. They were not accurate. They were not accurately representing what I was trying to put together. Holes and stuff were all over the place. Had to take it apart multiple times and start over again. Damn you, whatever the hell the name of the company is. Anyway, so yeah, that's what Lil Toots got, and she does not call PJ Uncle PJ. I actually have an Uncle PJ. That's a fun fact. Anyway, Dante, no, Matt, she calls the cops. Hey-o. And no, we didn't get the Art Easel off Wayfair, you sick bastards. Anyway, dirty joke. You ask the dude a question, he responds nicely. Huh? And there's the Wayfair reference. Thank you, Cody. Julian, good morning. April, hello again. PJ does deserve better. Don Vito, is Daryl Morey crazy enough to maybe never trade him like he said? Laugh out loud. Don, I think he is. I don't look at Daryl Morey and go, oh, he's just pandering or he's trying to drive up the price. I mean, I think he is partially trying to drive up the price, but I also think he's serious. I honestly think Daryl Morey, if he doesn't get a Dame Lillard type, a Bradley Beal type, if he doesn't get that upper echelon type of player, and I even know in those two names I just mentioned, there's a big difference between the two of them, but I'm saying if he doesn't get that upper echelon type of player in general, I think he's like, okay, we'll wait out the year. We'll get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Maybe we'll get lucky, get to the second round of the playoffs. Maybe I'll make another trade, and we'll get better that way. Watch him pull off something at the trade deadline that's like, oh, Ben's still here, and they got him? No way. That'd be interesting. PJ, come on. Agreed. Nate, good morning. How are you? John, what's up? JC, Don Vito, hello again. Multiple requests this week. What do we got? Isms? We asked for isms again? Goat is in the building. JC, Mopar, T-Bro, Mally, too. Dan? Have I glossed over Dan? Have I not seen Dan yet? Is Dan not in today? That's fine. Mally's work schedule might have switched up. He has posted recently, so he's still kicking it. All right. Easy enough. Just making sure everybody's okay. My New Year's resolution. This is from Mopar. Drink more Captain Morgan when needed. I'm not a Captain Morgan guy. My grandfather lived to be 100. He was a Captain and Coke guy. Loved it. Not for me. I am a straight up Jack Daniels guy. Maybe I'll have a drink tomorrow at this time of the show too. Celebrate New Year's with you guys a little early. So that way, again, I won't be drunk. Well, I'll be drunk. Anyway. Mopar would be betting an instant instant death. What the hell? Can we do a live stream drinking contest? Nate, I don't think so. I tend to get all in the feels when I'm drunk. I'm a happy drunk, but I'll tell you that I love you a lot. I'm one of those. And I do love you. How about that? I love you like Siriani loves ball. I love you like Jalen Hurts loves Kelsey. There we go. Sushi, rest in peace to a legend. What? Oh, John Madden. You know, I left a part of that story out yesterday with John Madden. That was his last game. That Super Bowl was his last game. Santonio Holmes corner of the end zone. And I was thinking after the show, I was like, wait a minute, I don't think I had an interaction with Madden after that, with Coach after that, as he was called. But I do remember I was walking to the back of one of the offices there, one of the NBC offices, and if you guys don't know what a featherlight is a tractor trailer that essentially is set up like an office as opposed to just a big empty space. So literally there'll be like 4 workstations in a tractor trailer and then like a lounge area. It's really awesome. Sunday Night Football has one, and it's like the office on wheels. And like the technical, like a lot of the tech guys will work out of that. The operations managers will work out of that. The director, producer, talent, Bob Costas, John Madden, Al Michaels, Michelle Tafoya, Chris Collinsworth, they'll all work out of that area, or at least stop in and talk about what they want to do on the show and all that stuff. So it's an interesting place. Coach Madden, John Madden, and Al Michaels were sitting outside that tractor trailer, that featherlight, at the end of the Super Bowl. And that's when I first saw Madden that night, that I actually met him, the night of the Super Bowl. And I'll never forget, him and Al Michaels were smoking these giant cigars. And it was like something out of a movie. Like, it was like I was walking into a club that I was not invited to, basically. It was like, oh, this isn't where I parked my car. So I remember I wanted to say hi to Madden because, again, I was his horse trailer guy all season. And I had talked to Al Michaels briefly before, so I said hi to him. And he goes, hey, how you doing? What was your name again? I was like, Marc Farzetta. He's like, oh, Marc, how you doing? Where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from Philadelphia, Philadelphia area. And he's like, oh, Philadelphia. A lot of great sports fans in Philadelphia. Like, he was really nice, engaged me in conversation. And I was like, Al Michaels is the greatest. And then when I met Madden officially, like 10 minutes later, and he was walking out of the catering tent, and he just gave me the, I kept on walking. I was like, oh, all right. Well, I guess that was cool still. I met the man. Yeah, I forgot about that part with Al Michaels, like being so warm and welcoming and like engaging me in conversation. And then coach in like the nicest way possible. I don't want to say he completely blew me off, but he did. But I still loved it. I love that almost more so than I love the, hey, Marc, how are you? Let me tell it straight on your forehead, you bald bastard. You know, whatever. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. PJ and Farzy, how'd you guys originally get started? Buzz Sports and Entertainment, brother. Cecil, thank you. I bow to you, Cheese. John Cheeseborough, repping. John Cheeseborough, PJ, you humiliated me, and I want my wet the tooth in. That's what PJ, he educated me on that. Too much of my life in December, half true, Cecil. What the hell is happening here? Nate, Vince, rooting big time for Hurts. There you go, Vince. And plus, don't you always want to believe that your future quarterback is on your team right now? That's what I always want to believe. Right after giving Wentz a fat contract. Sean, it takes strength to admit you don't know everything. Believe me, I know, says Sean. And smiling emojis, laughing emojis. No thumb talk. I'm at work. You people are sick. Sorry, Sean. Please, JC. Yes, Sean, cover your phone. Don't let coworkers see. JC, loved more mild inconveniences? Huh? Congrats to the American Dart League team on winning streak the past 12-4. What the hell? Yeah, Mopar, congratulations to them. I bet you hated Sealski seeing Giroux moved into second. Oh, I bet you Sealski hated Giroux moving to second. Matt, I don't think Sealski hates Giroux. I think he hates old Flyers culture. We got a 30 burger in there. Yeah, damn right. Pompey. I'll get Keith Pompey on again eventually. Yeah, and I don't think he does want to talk about that. Michael Shane. Kyle Pitts was motivated walking through the halls of Archbishop Wood in the locker room as 9th grade Farzetta. No, Archbishop Wood got really good at football years after I left. This is great. Wait, do I have the? Yeah, Rick. I envisioned 9th grade Farzy as a character in Little Giants. Rest in peace, John Madden. When John Madden made the cameo in Little Giants, first off, again, I'm sorry for the side story, but Little Giants has a special place in my heart because I forget how old I was, but I was old enough to where I got like a lot of money on my birthday, and I took my family to see Little Giants, and I paid. And I gotta look up when Little Giants came out, but I couldn't have been more than 12 years old, and I felt like a big shot when the lady went like, "Oh, 4 tickets, family of 4, okay, that'll be," and I handed the money, and then I went, "Oh my God, you know what it was? It was $20. God darn, I'm old. I took my whole family, my mom, my dad, my brother. I took them to the movies. I just didn't drive for $20 at the Barn Plaza in Doylestown, the old barn before it burnt down. Anyway, Jeff McClain is devil mama. Mopar, Jeff McClain, the devil mama. Brian, good morning. We got a bad crew. That sucks. But when John Madden popped out of the bus in Little Giants, it was like, oh my God, this movie just got to a whole new level. And then who was it? It was Emmitt Smith, boo. And then it was that other the Bruce Smith. Emmitt Smith and Bruce Smith. Not related. Mike Sealski, shoot. No, it is safe. Don't ask. Funny, but an inappropriate comment. Farzy bawling out for the family. Yeah. With daddy's money, probably, but still. John, it was probably Little Giants was 94. Thank you. So, yeah, I was like 12 years old. If that lines up, I was 11 or 12 years old. Icebox. Icebox did a little Cinemax, if you know what I'm saying. No, it wasn't my dad's money. It was probably like my aunt or uncle's because it was birthday money, baby. I was spending that dough, that birthday money, spending that lettuce. Coach O'Shea. Wow. You're mine, Pom Pom. I'm here all day for Little Giants references. There we go. Thanks, everyone, who participated in the chat. Much appreciated. You guys are awesome, as per usual. Wait, really? Yeah, Andrew, I wasn't kidding. I'm not going to look her up right now, but you can. If you want to look up Icebox O'Shea. What was her real name? Well, not real name, but I believe her name was Becky in that. Yeah, it was Becky. Let's move in. That was our chat check. Let's move into you guys are sick bastards. Anyway, let's move on to our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Flyers now. What do they have them at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-game point streak right now. 6-game point streak. They have won 5 of those games, which is nice. They now drop the puck on this West Coast trip. Disney on Ice. They're right back in action tonight, 10:30 at the San Jose Sharks. So hopefully they keep that point streak at least going tonight. The 76ers are going to tip off tonight with the Brooklyn Nets. Little revenge game for them. 7 o'clock tip off tonight against the Nets. Joel Embiid looking to build off of yet another 30-plus point performance on the road. So hopefully they do just that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Had a great time as per usual. Be back with you guys tomorrow on a New Year's Day. Or not New Year's Day. New Year's Eve edition of the Farzy Show as we get you a little bit more ready for the kickoff with the Washington football team this weekend. And the Eagles looking to solidify their playoff chances. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. Thanks, Jim Hyden, who produced the show. From the Steven Singer Studios, I'm Marc Farzetta. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya.